Alright, well, I talked about earlier how we got to get to this bougainvillea and do some work on it and trimming it up and getting it to look a little more like a specimen-like tree. And getting to that, we had to remove this dead palm and dig out the stump, which you see right here. And then it created this nice big hole we got here. So we're going to have to bring in some good organic potting soil for that, retreat the ground, and get that back up and going really healthy. But moving right along into this bougainvillea, I was now making access easier. And I kind of get in here, get myself situated and safe, and I start pulling on what might be the main leaders. And look at all this growth that is getting in the way of the table and taking up space here in the courtyard, when we're going to look for main central trunks here and pull it back into this corner like this. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to trim out a lot of this stuff here. So we're going to show a little bit of that, and then hopefully have a really nice end result. And just remember, working with bougainvillea, for safety's sakes, you need to put on some protective gloves. Some people even wear protective eyewear, and sometimes long sleeves.
Because
you get poked in the eye with these thorns. Look at some of these thorns we got here. I wouldn't want to be wearing that anywhere under my epidermis. But building up a little bit of tolerance, a little bit of toughness, you learn to work with this stuff and get it out of the way. So I see a few immediately, some things I'm going to be needing to take back. This was originally grown staked on a trellis from the nursery to here. And that's good if you want to train them to grow up a wall. And it did really act as support for the way it was in this corner. See, look down there. But it's also added to the weight of pulling this thing over. And we're yanking the root ball right out of the ground. And so that can't be healthy for the plant. So it may look like here in a few moments I've really butchered this thing. But that's what I got to do to get the good stuff relieved. And I got to watch out. In this courtyard raised planters with the drip irrigation system, the low voltage lights, wires here, you just can't just go in like gangbusters and start cutting like crazy, because otherwise that makes more work later. Repairing the irrigation system, repairing the lighting system, we don't want to do that. So we get in here, you start grabbing some of these and cutting them away.
So you're starting at the bottom.
I'm starting at the bottom. Kind of going to go back and forth because I've got kind of a good eye for seeing what needs to be removed and what can be left. And then we're going to start looking at the overall shape and structure of what we have remaining. Whether it wants to take on a bonsai feel, and making it look like a miniature large tree, or if we want to put a larger trellis back here eventually and have it grow up that. See, all this weeding under here too. Sucker trees from golden rain trees and drake elms, all that are wind dispersed from the area. Very beautiful specimen trees right over the other side of this wall, but we don't want them in our courtyard raised planters here.
With bougainvillea, is there a good time of the year to do this, or just whenever it needs it?
Whenever it needs it, mainly. And in Central Florida here, it really doesn't lose its leaves, all year round and stuff. So it grows predominantly all the time in this subtropic region that we have here. And actually, after bougainvillea is established, either as a plant from the nursery or from a cutting, which most people may not realize, but bougainvillea propagates very easily, and you can just take cuttings like this, strip some of the leaves off. Now that one, we'll have to get a better one. Has some thorns. Look, there's some good thorns right there. That'll put a bite in you. We cut these off for safety's sake, and we really don't need them. Then you would scratch the cambium, outside bark there, put a little root tone on this and put it in some propagation soil, potting soil, organic matter, and water it, and lo and behold, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get brand new propagated bougainvillea very easily. Once
Wow.
they get the roots, you can put them in bigger pots, maybe go from a 4-inch cup up to a 1-gallon pot, then immediately in the ground. And they pretty much live off of dew and neglect once they get established here. But get into that point where they'll live on their own. Takes you and me, or a property owner, or a little bit of maintenance.